The human mind is filled with countless thoughts, and yet we rarely pause to observe or analyze them. We collect knowledge, read books, listen to successful people, but without deep understanding, it all becomes just information, like water stored in a bottle that no one drinks. A student may gather knowledge, but wisdom is born when one knows how to use it rightly. This wisdom does not come from memorizing, but from watching each thought as it arises, questioning its origin, its meaning, and its relevance to life. Most people live in a mechanical way, going to school, doing a job, repeating daily tasks, without ever really looking into the mind that drives all action. The first step toward intelligence is to become aware of the nature of thought. For example, when jealousy arises, one usually reacts, blames others, or suppresses it. But to grow in intelligence, one must stop and silently observe that jealousy. Ask, where did it come from? Was it caused by comparison, by fear of losing something, or by a hidden desire to be special? This honest and direct observation of thought, without trying to change or judge it, brings clarity. In practical life, if a student feels pressure before exams, the usual reaction is to either panic or distract oneself. But if the student observes that fear quietly and understands that it comes from the desire to succeed, to avoid failure, or to please others, then the fear loses its power. Intelligence is not in running away from fear, but in understanding the structure of it. Every thought has a background. Our upbringing, past experiences, beliefs, and social influence shape how we think. If a young man constantly feels inferior, he must ask, am I comparing myself with someone else's image of success? Why do I want to be like them? Is this desire mine, or borrowed from society's expectations? Such questions slowly peel away the layers of confusion. The mind becomes sharper, lighter, more alive. Knowledge by itself is like a toolbox, but intelligence is the hand that knows which tool to use, when, and how. A wise person studies not only books, but also the workings of their own mind. In relationships, for instance, conflicts arise because people rarely understand themselves. They expect, demand, and get hurt when others don't fulfill those images. But what if one could see the mind creating these images? The idea that my partner should always make me happy is just a thought planted by movies, culture, or one's own desire for comfort. Once you see that this expectation is not truth but a mental construct, your relationship becomes free from unnecessary pressure. Similarly, at work, if a man feels anxious about failure, he must watch the thought behind that anxiety. Is it fear of judgment? Is it the thought, I must prove my worth? This analysis, not done mechanically but with sensitive awareness, breaks the false authority that thought holds. Life changes when we no longer take every thought as truth. For example, someone might think, I'm not good enough, and live with that thought for years, letting it affect decisions, relationships, and dreams. But when one watches that thought, really watches it with quiet curiosity, it becomes clear that it is just a memory repeating itself, a conclusion made long ago. It has no truth unless we give it power. Intelligence grows each time we question what the mind says. This is not about positive thinking or replacing bad thoughts with good ones, but about seeing all thoughts clearly, like clouds passing in the sky. You don't need to control the clouds, you just need to observe them. Similarly, in knowing oneself, one must listen to thoughts without resistance. If you feel lazy, instead of calling yourself bad, ask, why am I lazy? Is it because I have no interest in what I am doing? Is it because I have been forced to follow a path that is not mine? In such inquiry, real energy is born. When you align your actions with inner clarity, there is no conflict and life flows naturally. Even simple moments can be turned into insights. For example, when standing in a queue and feeling irritated, you can watch the thought saying, why is this taking so long? And realize it comes from the mind's habit of wanting control over time. Such realizations bring freedom in small and big moments. A mind that analyzes each thought carefully becomes fresh, awake, and responsive. It no longer reacts from habit, but acts from understanding. Success in life, then, is not just about achieving goals, but about knowing how the mind works at every step. A person who understands their mind knows how to deal with challenges, how to relate with people, how to stay balanced in both success and failure. This inner clarity is more valuable than any degree or skill. For instance, a businessman may know all about profits and strategy, but if he does not know how greed operates in his mind, he will suffer endlessly, chasing more and never feeling enough. On the other hand, someone who observes the movement of greed within can act wisely, choosing what is truly needed rather than being a slave to endless desire. Such observation is not difficult. It only needs patience and honesty. Each day offers chances to learn about the mind. When you feel bored, instead of escaping into entertainment, ask, what is this boredom? Is it because I have lost contact with life? Because my senses are dull? In such questions, the mind begins to uncover its patterns. Over time, this awareness becomes your greatest strength. You no longer depend on others to tell you what is right. You see it directly. In a world full of borrowed opinions, to think originally is a rare gift. And that comes only when one begins to analyze each thought, not with judgment, but with gentle attention. Just as a gardener watches how each seed grows, one must watch how each thought takes root and grows into feelings, actions, and habits. If the seed is false, the fruit will be bitter. But if the seed is understood deeply, even a painful thought can be transformed into learning. This is how a mind becomes intelligent, not by suppressing thoughts, but by understanding them fully. And when such intelligence flowers, you will see a new kind of success. Not just material success, but a success in being human, kind, aware, balanced, and peaceful. Your knowledge becomes useful, your relationships become meaningful, your work becomes joyful, and your self becomes light. The mind, once a source of confusion, becomes a mirror that reflects life clearly. Such is the power of observing and analyzing thoughts, not as a technique, but as a way of living. In this way, life itself becomes your teacher, your thoughts become your guide, and your awareness becomes the light that shows the path in every situation.